Good morning and happy Christmas Eve. It is the 23rd of December. Happy holidays to everybody. I am in the local vigilance area today, and we are basically doing a generic tracking run looking for signs of life, the normal. And we have a couple of things to cover today. We'll cover those in a bit and take things from there. But again, happy holidays. Kind of up the hill from where we were. Excuse me. Kind of just looking through here for any signs of anything interesting. It's fairly open though, so I don't really expect to find anything. I'm again being judicious though, because I don't want to have an accidental meeting with a hunter, if you know what I mean. Just meaning I'm trying to avoid hunting accidents. I don't want to cause them or myself any trouble, so trying to stay out of their way and vice versa. But in the meantime, some people that do bigfooting actually seem to take hunting season off, which I think is a mistake, because at least in the local vigilance area in past years, the time when there's potential activity is kind of like in the beginning of like the latter part of November into December, and then it perks up again in the right conditions of weather patterns in late March. That's been past years anyway. And on top of that, as long as you're wearing orange and taking the right precautions, I've never had a bad run-in with a hunter. They're friendly people enjoying the outdoors like you are. They get a little disappointed to see you because you're going to scare away Bambi, but they have to understand they're sharing space with hikers and other people too, so it's kind of a live and let live thing. I have a similar feeling towards snowshoers and cross-country skiers because they're both competing for the same trails, and one kind of messes it up for the other conditions-wise. But anyway, I'm not seeing much here. I'm going to head out and back towards the hill and start going back up the other side of the mountain and working my way back. This terrain actually kind of sucks for tracks and the like. You know, the scrunchy stuff. You could have tracks come through here and you wouldn't even know. But we're going to make our way up this way, and I'm trying to think if there's any rumor fodder in the Bigfoot world these days. And the hunting season thing was something that was said by somebody a while back, and I don't get that. As long as you know hunting safety and things like that, you're fine. But this individual tends to be a squatcher who, I'm not going to mention names obviously, who doesn't like to camp out either, so that again I don't understand, because if you don't camp out, you're only there during the day and you're limiting your exposure to the area. So you don't have to camp out every time, but I mean, if you don't like doing it or you're afraid to do it, I don't get that. I just don't get that. Not necessarily mocking the person, everybody has their own comfort zones, but pop out to the trail here and start heading back. Everyone has their own comfort zones, but it's perfectly safe and well to camp out. I've never had a bear. I've never had a bear come into camp. I've never had hostile dealings with other people. Rude, drunken people over the hill on occasion, but that's camping. Most of the time, though, it's fine. But anyway, we're going to take a short segment break. Again, as things happen or don't, we'll do the best we can with this. Kind of walking through, this is where the area we were just in kind of filters out into more scrubby kind of stuff, and same conditions over here. But we're going to segue break so I can cover some ground and head back towards the hill, and then check on a couple of other spots and see if there's any signs of life there. So far, it's like me, the rain that was supposed to stop at about noon, but is not. And we'll take things from there. We'll be back in a bit. There's a look at where I just came up from. Nice skyscape for the day anyway. Obviously other people have been through here. It's been a week since I came out to this area, and where I am is like a little bit of a trail going up. I was kind of sidelined last week with a groin injury due to some ill sidewalk maintenance on the part of the place where I live. Doing better though, so I'm obviously out today. Just had an interesting attempt at a drone flight from the wind, but the wind is supposed to be rather high today, and right now it's probably in the, I think the normal wind level going up at about 200 feet started going about 20 miles an hour, and the vertical hold on the position of the drone went from varying from 1 foot to 2 feet to about 30 to 40 feet, and I brought it down very quickly. Luckily the wind didn't claim my little buddy, so I don't know how well the intro will work because of that, but it is what it is, I suppose. So again, it's Christmas Eve. The day is actually, despite the snow, it's probably about 47 degrees and quite nice out today. Slightly gray skies making for some interesting cloud cover, as you can see on the horizon. And we are out for a morning hike before we go home and do Christmas Eve dinner and do a virtual Christmas with the family. Must be a good time to be invested in companies like Zoom, because they are probably making healthy money right now due to things like that, due to COVID. But on that front, one thing I was going to cover today that is completely non-Bigfoot related is that, and this might be a little controversial for some, hopefully not, probably just the anti-vaxxers, but yesterday because I work in the medical industry, notably a hospital, I was given a chance to get the first of 2 injections of the Pfizer vaccine. So I am at this point half vaccinated against COVID, and find myself in a position where people have had concerns over side effects with the vaccine. I'm in a position to kind of be somebody who can report on that on a day-to-day basis now. Being a person in their early 50s and being, excuse me, other than allergies and hucking noises, in fairly decent condition for that age group. So far, side effects a day later, the only real side effect that I feel, they had predicted that there might be some soreness around the spot that the injection was given, and that's proving to be true. Little soreness, and by little soreness I said if you applied a pain index of 1 to 10, you're batting about a 2. Not a lot, but you definitely know that you got an injection, but it doesn't hurt per se. Last week on Saturday, walking with a groin injury was less comfortable for obvious reasons. But so this week, I guess that is kind of where I don't normally do like the year in review stuff, because I feel like COVID took a lot of the potential of the year out of it, because you just, during the course of various times of the year, a lot of my field work in, sorry, thought I lost my ice spike. I'm wearing those to forego the chance of slipping beyond a point so I don't redo the groin. But due to travel advisories in Vermont was one of the states that was fairly strict about quarantining before you come up. And in particular, in the earlier part of the year when I would have been up there and there was a bigger window for activity in certain regards, it was a time when they didn't want you up there. And I believe at one point they were monitoring the border for out-of-state plates, and so there was some uncertainty as to whether you're going to get pulled over for things of that nature. by the boys in green up there, their state troopers being in green vehicles and the like. But what else? They loosened up during the summer, so I was able to get up there then, but the windows for opportunity actually spike, I notice, like May and October up there. Usually right before hunting season. But they were stringent, so I was observant. I mean, right now, the snowpack up there is probably deep enough that it's going to be hard to get around up there anyway, but they have gone into a basic lockdown where there's no exceptions. You come in from any state, you have to quarantine for, I think they've brought it down to 10 days from 14, but there's no exceptions, and you have to fill out a health form, or it's like 5 days in a negative COVID test. I'm going to keep an eye on it, though, for how they're going to handle vaccinated people, because the vaccine is starting to make its rounds. And I did actually, on the Vermont subreddit, find out that somebody there was like, I get my vaccines on Monday, so it's making its way up there. Where I work was lucky enough to get, I think, an initial 1,200 doses of the Pfizer vaccine, and the Moderna one's coming in right after that. So rather than do a year in review, let's do a year to come, because I'd like to think that the whole pandemic is kind of having a light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing going on. So that's a positive, whereas I don't think anyone is going to really fail to wish 2020 a don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out kind of a feeling, because it's been a messed up year in many ways. The pandemic itself, but then all the side effects, the hoarding of toilet paper and crazy shit like that. Certain things in the way of food were hard to find. So, that kind of thing. So as far as activity in the woods today, the traditional, let me just show you something. Oops. In the downward position here. The traditional spring, wintertime competition between snowshoers and cross-country skiers is obviously well underway. For who gets the virgin snow first. Other than that, I've seen deer tracks, I've seen some bunny and squirrel tracks. I have a picture of what might be either very exaggerated deer tracks or moose tracks. The stride length would suggest moose, though. So at this point, I am going to cover ground. I've made an executive decision. I'm going to stay on trail today. A segment break, and we'll pick up in a little bit. I'm going to wait a week before I do any bushwhacking, just to give the groin a week to heal. It's not painful anymore, but you can still feel it, so it's not worth redoing. I don't want it to become a long-term injury, because that would just cause issues I don't need. So, as far as bigfooting recently, there's just been kind of like the sad resurgence of past hoaxes and fake pictures on Facebook, but that's cyclical. And I've been approached by a couple of local researchers who I guess want to get out. That might be something for the new year. I don't know how conducive that's going to be with existing personalities that I occasionally collaborate with. And one of my network members from New Hampshire allegedly has something in the works that he hasn't shared with me yet. So it's a year for, I guess, some element of reflection, things that we weren't able to do just because of the situation that we've been stuck in. A lot of people haven't been out just because they've been socially distancing from people. It can be interesting to see what people do with all their masks once we're kind of like on the other side of this. We get some herd immunity going. But it starts with getting the vaccine out to people, and hopefully people aren't going to be paranoid and not get it. Because like I said, I got the first of 2 and I feel fine. So I'm in a position to share how that develops. And it's quiet here today. I don't see any interesting tracks, and I'm not really in the shape to go deeper in right today because I'm still recovering from the injury. But I did want to get out and kind of get out in the woods and breathe in some fresh air, if nothing else. So this is probably going to be a short and fairly non-exciting video. But there is a new year coming, and with that new year, there's new things to explore too. So local vigilance may or may not have something going on in an area to the, I guess we're looking at the southeast or the northeast from where I'm standing right now going on. So I'll be putting in more time and effort there. Although there's nothing keeping anything that's in that particular area from wandering around, because this area is connected to it directly. And yeah, I know how to bushwhack from here. I could walk into these woods here and go up over the hill, cut across the high meadow, go down the hill, cross over the trail, and get into that area. It would take me longer, obviously, but I do know the contiguous woods by trail and by otherwise. So we will be doing in the winter things of this nature if the snow is not crazy deep. Today it's about, I guess we're down to about 6 inches from about where last Saturday, right after the snow, I guess we got about 13 inches where I was south of here. So these guys probably got about 20, 16 to 20. And so we'll make our rounds like that. But going forward, we're going to be doing that. And then once we get into the April time frame, we will hope that places like Vermont and New Hampshire get a chance to open up their restrictions a little bit, because by then more people will have gotten the vaccine and hopefully the numbers will be down again from the winter. Right now, Connecticut, I guess, has an infection rate daily of about 6.5%, give or take a 0.1% on a daily basis. Other places like California are up over 10 though, so the unfortunate reality is we're going to be getting a decent spike from the holidays when people are going to travel when they shouldn't, but people are going to do what they're going to do, and hopefully things slow down and get better after that. Sorry to end on a sobering note, but that's how that is. I guess it's a challenge to the YouTube algorithms too, because I've heard, at least in my travels on YouTube, that you're not supposed to mention COVID or anything, or they flag you for false information. But these are stats taken from the daily data sheets from various states. So if you believe those facts, they are not fake news. They are actually what's happening day by day in this thing. That's about where I'm going to leave this, though, because I don't really have a lot more. It's not like I have a Sasquatch walking in front of me or a moose out there to take its photo at the moment. So it's a quiet day in the woods, and I got out of the house to get some fresh air and share some thoughts with you guys. For the newer subscribers to the channel, I say thank you. Tell your friends. Things will pick up, but like I said, right now I'm nursing an injury, so I'm kind of half on the shelf still. We'll leave it there, and enjoy your holidays. We'll see you next time.